Hello, ladies and gentlemen, my Dark Knights. This is the Bat Brand. How you doing, my Gotham fans? Welcome to a brand new live of literally goes. I do this right after the episode's release of Gotham, and this is my season 5, episode 5 review, and my episode 6 preview as well. So come on in the chat. Let's discuss what happened in this episode and your thoughts and opinions. Now, I'm going to jump right into what happened. This episode was not the best at all, but we found out a lot of different stuff. We found out Selina and Bruce are technically, I think, done. Pretty much. Selina's doing the same thing Bruce did when he killed Ra's al Ghul. Selina's doing the same thing. She's basically drinking herself to death. They're basically doing the same thing that he did, that Bruce did when he killed, because obviously she killed Jeremiah. But surprise, surprise, what did I tell you? He's not dead. I told you he's not dead. The old fake Joker gag, Batman. Well, guess what? He's not dead. He made you all think he was dead, and all I gotta say is pat on the back, Brandon. See, I told you guys. I told you he wasn't dead. Now, we learned some other stuff too. We got our first look at the new Bane character. It looks like we're gonna get Bane in the next episode, which, dear God, that's quick. But it looks like the government is the bad guys in this season. Because they orchestrated this whole thing, pretty much. And I'm not sure if they were saying Director Waller or not Director Waller, or Director Waller or Director Walker. I'm not entirely sure which one they were saying. It sounded like they were saying Waller. If they were saying Waller, I think it's Walker though. Which we'll find out. Whoever this Walker has got to come from Peniadora as well, the same place that the potential this Eduardo, aka Bane, in the future of this season is from as well, I think. Now, I'm going to jump right into the beginning. How it started out was they're still looking for the Haven Killer. And they come into this place, and the guy who had sold the RPGs, and him and Eduardo take him down. Eduardo comes in, and basically takes down the RPG guy. Now, and then they take his little booklet with the people that he buys from, and the person that bought it from him was Edward Nygma. And they then started searching for him, and Jim started him and Jim are friends from the war and stuff and whatnot in the army. And it seems like he wanted to get away from Harvey because Eduardo wanted to push Harvey away from Jim, because he constantly wanted to do stuff with Jim, which we found out later in the episode why. Because he ends up betraying Jim, and he was working with this Walker lady the whole time, and basically his job is to basically establish order, which that means kill everybody, kill them all, and kill all the bad guys that are responsible for this. And basically, Jim's not for that, obviously. Jim's not for that, obviously. He wants to bring them in quietly, make them stand trial, make them, and take them down the proper way. And it does backfire, but I'll get into that shortly. Now, they do find Edward Nygma. He's still having problems with his whole Riddler and Edward Nygma persona. Someone is controlling his Edward Nygma half, we found out. not his Riddler persona, which is the more powerful, knowledgeable mind, which I don't think would be able to be controlled. Which we do find out he is being controlled by none other than, I guess, this director Walker, the government of all people. Really, just if this season isn't all about us hating the government, I don't know what is. But and Eduardo basically had the thing in his hand that controls Ed. I mean, so basically they're the ones who bombed Haven. They just used Ed to do it. And that basically solves another thing. But if they did that with Ed, what did they do to Lee? What did they do to Lee? I think they did something to Lee. And I think I'm going to say that they turned her into something. Either she's being mind controlled as well, and we don't see her yet, or she's Magpie. Maybe she is. I'm not sure, but we'll find out. Sorry, it is really cold up here in Pennsylvania, by the way. Oh wow, that's a lot of sinus pressure. After this is done, I'm gonna need to blow my nose. Anyway. As I said, where was I at? Oh, yes, they find Edward Nygma. Edward Nygma has this great, riddle style again. It was good for that, to see that again with him. I love that with him, where he steps on an IED on the floor, pressurized on the floor, and if he got off of it, or he has a heartbeat rate, if it goes up 10 or goes down 10, it will blow and it will kill basically whoever is who it'll basically kill him. And the way Gordon kind of gets around with it and goes around the bookshelf and solves the puzzle is pretty cool as well. Ed does escape, gets captured by these hillbillies, outsmarts them very easily, and short circuits what I guess we found out later, he short circuits the brain chip that Hugo Strange put in his head when he brought him back to life. And we find out also, which I'll get into that, Hugo Strange being a contracted person, he takes contracts too. Is he Deathstroke? I mean, Hugo Strange all about whoever pays him as well. He'll, as long as he can do his experiments. And what happened was Nygma escapes. He through his thing he sees Oswald Cobblepot, and he sees these things where he's like, okay, you said you were gonna fix me. Why is all this? I did like the funny banter in between them when Nygma's holding him up at gunpoint and says, did you name your dog after me? And he goes, well, yeah, you're my only friend, but you shot Butch. Well, I needed to. You were the only friend I have now. But even though he killed one of his friends, Butch, who was his friend, but he did it as a means of revenge. And it kind of, their friendship is a little sick and twisted, but it's also, they also still really care for each other as friends, as well. But at any time, they will stab each other in the back. And that kind of show, that's Gotham for you. And that is literally, that's all the villains in Batman's Rogues Gallery. They don't really work well together, but if they need to, they will. That's how they've always been. Now, back to what I was saying, too, about Nygma. I do like how, Harvey goes off with Eduardo. They come in and they break into City Hall against Penguin. Edward's gone. Edward just blinked away. He's gone. He went after Hugo Strange after Oswald told him about Hugo Strange. And actually, no, he goes to Barbara. He goes to Barbara for information. And we do not know what intel he tells Barbara, because Barbara obviously doesn't know that he's being controlled yet until he tells her. And then he says, "You want the greatest intel of all time." And he tells her something, but we don't know what he told her. Maybe I'm hoping we find out later in the season. I really do hope so, because we do not know what the information he told her. Sorry, I have a feeling it's something to do with Eduardo, this Eduardo person, or it is something to do with um, Oswald. I still have I'm feeling it has something to do with one of these people that is close to her as well. Now, also, I did want to talk about what happened after the whole Penguin stuff as well. They do capture Penguin. Penguin obviously is getting, dear Lord, he like spits out blood and stuff from Eduardo beating him. Eduardo is a lot more aggressive. I mean, than, and that's, he is going to become Bane, so it makes sense. And he interrogates him and tells him that Hugo Strange, you know, tells Jim that Hugo Strange was the reason. He said Ed's telling him that someone's controlling him, and he even says, this isn't Ed. He's into puzzles and the occasional murder of one or two people at a time, something like that, but with something to do with puzzles. He's not into murdering hundreds and thousands of people. That's not him. Now, I still want to know, and I'll get into this, delving more into this. I still want to know why the government destroyed Haven. Why they controlled Ed to begin with to destroy Haven. That's what I really want to know. Why? That makes no sense unless we find out later that this Director Walker has something to do with everything that's going on in Gotham. And either that or she's a lost member of the League of Shadows. I don't know. But we shall see. Now, we do get Ed. Ed does find where Hugo Strange is. We do have a nice little moment where obviously Selina is drinking herself to death, and she tells him about the night his parents died, that she was there, and she did absolutely nothing, and called him the scared little boy. And him and whatchamacallit, him and Harvey have this nice little talk with each other, which you don't see a lot in Gotham. I've never really seen Harvey talk a lot with and have like a heart-to-heart with Bruce in the series. So that was a nice little thing for the series as well. It seems also in the next episode that this Delta Force is going to go after Bruce Wayne, of all people. Why would they be trying to take him down? I don't understand. Either this lady who is telling all these people to do stuff is really messed up in the head, or there's something else going on. Or these people aren't who they say they are. And that's what I think. These people aren't the government. There's something else going on here. And it always is in Gotham. Now, the other thing, back to what I was saying about Ed. Ed does meet up with Hugo Strange. Hugo Strange tells him that after he patched up his wound and stuff, that they kind of put a chip inside of his head. And controlling the Edward Nigma, half of him, at any time, and they can control him remotely. And we find out that Eduardo has a button where he can control him and tell him what to do remotely and all this other stuff in his brain. And what happened was when he got electrocuted by it, it short-circuited it. And Hugo Strange has been contracted to do it. Really, and then we have the moment where Jim and Eduardo do break in, stop Hugo Strange, and then the betrayal happens. I did not think they were going to do it one episode in. I mean, I thought either he was going to go crazy or something was going to happen. I didn't think just the whole time that he was just a soldier following orders and that he was going to just basically just betray Jim like that and then basically take control of Ed, basically like, click his thing on and then say, "Hey, you know this city, you know Jim Gordon, go kill him." Really? And you're friends with this man. He saved your life several times, and you're friends with this man. Either this man doesn't value his friendship that much, or he really is. There is really something else going on. I think we're gonna find that once he turns into Bane. I think he's really gonna break. He's really gonna go insane, and he's just gonna become a killing machine. Now, which I think supposedly we're gonna get in 2 weeks' time. I mean, come on, man, come on. I gotta wait 2 weeks for a new episode, which makes me upset. But at the end of the day, you guys hopefully will still. I mean, next Thursday, I'll just have to do a different live then, whatever. But the other thing I also wanted to talk about that happened in the episode, besides that, right at the end of the episode, I told you guys. I told you. This episode, for me, also was one of the worst ones of the season. It was kind of, it was okay. Wasn't that great, but it was one of the worst ones of the season. After the high of last episode and of the last two, and we just right back down. I'm not so sure. But I think we're going to go back up with the next episode because Jeremiah is not dead. We think he is at first. He's sitting in this, he's laying down with his eyes closed, and they're inside of this hole. Echo, aka the Proto Harley Quinn, is is underneath this thing, and they must have made it to the other side, which I think is Dollmaker's mansion. Dr. Dollmaker from the very first season, if you guys remember. I still think it's Dr. Dollmaker, because who else would be able to do which I'm about to talk about. Now, Jeremiah then basically says, "Ow," because she pats the body, and of course, at first I just think maybe she is insane, and she pats the body, and he says, "Ow." He goes, "Shake that bullet around a little bit." She goes, "That's why you should have wore that armor like I told you to." He says something about that bullet that it put in your brain is making you sentimental. Shake it around a little bit. And she says, it was all part of my plan. I wanted to Selena to at least get one stab in me. And she said, "You wanted Bruce and Selena to think you were dead. That was the whole part of your plan, wasn't it?" And he said, "Of course it was. Of course it was. I wanted them to think I'm dead." And that is 100% what I told you guys last week he was going to say. He is going, and that tells me right there, the secret third character he's going to become Joker. It's going to happen. We are going to get Joker because he's starting to turn. He's starting to become this Joker character. I'm starting to see it a little bit. From what he's saying, from the jokes he's saying, he had that little Joker laugh at the end of the episode too, which I think is he comes to this up underneath this chimney or this fireplace or something, and he says "doctor," which I still think this is Dr. Dollmaker's island, or his place, wherever it is, because for one reason. Who else would be able to make faces and body parts to make them look like Thomas and Martha Wayne? Dr. Dollmaker, ladies and gentlemen. I guarantee That's who did this with the, and I still say that it doesn't show their faces, but it shows the back of them. Anybody can tell, just if you guys watch the trailer, you know. That's Thomas and Martha Wayne. So, and then he says the line, I love family reunions, don't you? And his Cameron Monaghan, I'm telling you what a great actor. What a great actor. I mean, he is up there. Top three Joker actors for me of all time now. I mean, with Mark Hamill 1, Heath Ledger 2, and now Cameron Monaghan 3. This, like, Troy Baker was up there with number 3 because he did such a good rendition of the voice, and now this Cameron Monaghan Joker with Jerome, Jeremiah, and then the possible of Joker. Just wow. Just wow. I love his character. I know some people are hating on Jeremiah, but come on. I mean, it's a good character, and you're starting to see why. Let it develop. Show some character development, okay? That's what all this show is about. Our goal is to get to the end where Batman is established. This was never a Batman show. This was a show to build up to Batman, pre-Batman, to an origin story for everyone, to what they will become. And next episode, when they come out with it from the preview, that was basically the review. But the preview, it seems like we're going to get Bane next episode, which, holy crap, already. They're going to be coming after Bruce Wayne, and it looks like Jeremiah is going to start fulfilling his plan. Episodes 6, 7, and I think 8 are all going to devolve around Jeremiah and doing his little sick, twisted game with this recreated Martha and Thomas Wayne, making him relive the death of his parents and taking him back to Crime Alley where it all began. I really think that, and those episodes are going to be the best of the season. And mark my words. Well, other than the 10-year time jump and the Batman episode, those are going to be the best episodes that I will remember probably for all time. So, this is probably all the time I have to talk about the review and the preview now. There was one more thing I did want to talk about. Mortal Kombat 11. I've been watching some videos and stuff about it, and it seems like Kano has been revealed. They did move back the combat cast, which they were going to reveal Cabal and some other people, to February the 5th, which saddens me a little bit because I was going to watch the live today and found out around like 1 or 3 o'clock today that they're not doing it. But it is what it is. I did hear from some people that he got the whole roster right in MKX last year, and he has some kind of source inside of NetherRealm Studios or something that works for them, or WB Games or something like that, where he's confirmed the whole roster, and it seems like he's pretty spot on so far. Kano was revealed in a Brazil thing. So it looks like we're going to get Kano again. We're also going to probably get some other characters. I mean, they're saying Jade is probably going to be one. Rain is coming back. A lot of these characters, from what Ed Boon has said too, is going to be more popular characters with the fans. Fan favorites. Very more popular characters among the community. So Rain, I can see Rain definitely being in it. And Rain is one of my favorite characters as well. I do normally main him when I do play Mortal Kombat. Even when I was younger, I loved playing with Rain. His moveset is awesome. I love doing the thing with the water where he spits the water out in MK9. That was so cool. And then the bubble, I can like lift the bubble and float him around. It's going to be interesting. And they're also saying Shao Kahn is going to have a part in the story too. Which that's awesome. It's been a while since Shao Kahn has been in a Mortal Kombat game in like the story since MK9. So I'm very excited for that. But that is all the time I have for this live news whatever review thing. Thank you guys so much for watching. If you guys did enjoy this, please go ahead, leave a like, and comment and subscribe, and come back in the next 2 Thursdays for my episode 6 review of Gotham. And as always,